Good morning and welcome to the first episode of Panther Broadcast Channel News for the 2018-2019 school year. Our staff has been hard at work learning new things and we are excited to bring you this episode.
We will start this episode with two of our staff members talking with new teachers here at CHS, Mrs. Walters and Mrs. Brooks.
What were you like in high school?
I was athletic and a good student. I played volleyball, basketball, softball, and then I did well. I was part of National Honor Society.
What did you want to be when you grew up?
A teacher. Yep.
Why did you decide to become a teacher?
To help kids. I'm a caring person, so I really wanted to make a difference.
Do you have children?
I do. I have 4 kids. Cody's a senior, Kylie's a sophomore, Kaylin's a 7th grader, and Kane's a 4th grader.
Why did you choose your subject instead of another subject?
Because math is my best subject. You know, everybody has a strength. Math is my strength. And when I was in high school, my math teacher, she was fantastic, and she encouraged me to go in this direction.
Describe your teaching style.
I'm a little bit old-fashioned with my teaching style. I like to stand at the board, go through explanations, go through examples, and then help the kids out during homework time.
What frustrates you the most in the classroom?
Not turning in their homework assignments, especially when they're for a completion grade. As long as they attempt it, they will get credit.
In what ways do you encourage creativity in your classroom?
Creativity, like today with one of my lessons, they did not necessarily have to follow a specific step-by-step. They were able to choose their own route that they wanted to go because we were doing like 3 equations. So as long as they were getting down to the answer, they didn't have to follow exactly the way I wanted to.
What is your least favorite age or grade to teach?
That's hard because I have a K through 12 certificate, so I've taught kindergarten, I've taught high school, so I've enjoyed all the ages.
Which is more important, teaching or learning?
I think both are very important. You have to have a good teacher that is willing to put forth the effort, but you also have to have that learner that's willing to put forth the effort and match them.
Who has most influenced you to become an educator, and how did they influence you?
Probably my high school math teacher, because she's the one that said, Kristen, I know you wanted to be a teacher, maybe this is the direction you can go. And actually one of my college professors, I was originally just an elementary education major, and I was taking for my elective calculus, and he's the one that talked me also into saying, okay, maybe this is the direction you need to go to become more marketable and have that options available.
Tell us about a golden teaching moment of yours.
A golden teaching moment could be just like the other day when the kids were in here. It was a very hard, difficult lesson, and when we first started, there was a lot of steps, a lot of things you had to do. It was a word problem, so that frustrates kids also as soon as you see that word problem, but by the time they left, they were smiling and they thought they were ready to do it.
What interests you about our school?
We moved here from Illinois in 2004, and it was a smaller town, and we hadn't heard really good things about it, and we've been in the Centralia area since.
Why did you decide to become a teacher?
I think, like most people, I had, a handful of really highly influential teachers in my life throughout school, especially in high school, when I really needed an adult influence based on, what was going on in my life at that time. And I think that those people really made a difference, and that a lot of what I am is because of the influence that they had on me. And so I think that definitely is a reason that I was first interested in it. And it's a noble profession. So mainly that's why I chose to. I love working with kids, specifically teenagers. And so it was a good fit.
What were you like in high school?
I was very competitive, academically inclined. I played basketball. I was very competitive in basketball. Outside of that, I wasn't super involved. I was in STUCO, but we lived way out in the country. I didn't have a way to get to and from town often, so we were limited to one activity, and that was it because our dad had to bring us back and forth. So I was a good student, and really there's not a lot to tell.
What did you want to be when you grew up?
I wanted to be a physician, and I went to Mizzou with the intention of going to medical school, but I worked for 2 doctors my freshman and sophomore year at Mizzou, and they discouraged me. They said, whatever you do not go into medicine. If you place any value on your family life, if you want to be a good parent, and parenting your children yourself is important to you, then this is not the profession for you. And I trusted them. They were brilliant people and they were great parents, but you could see the struggle that they had between balancing work and home, and so I took what they said seriously, and so I changed my major at that time.
Do you have any children?
I have 4 children. Ava is 14. Tess, this is terrible, I can't remember how old they are. Tess is 12. Mac is 10, and Mara is 8.
Tell us a little bit about your student teaching experiences.
Okay, I did my student teaching at Rockbridge High School. At the time, my degree is in health and physical education because I wanted to teach health. Because I didn't go into medicine, I decided, I can still, do something in a health-related field, and in that case, I decided health education was a good option for me. And so I did my student teaching at Rockbridge High School with the 4 phys ed teachers there, one of which was Barry Odom. Actually, at the time, he was one of the phys ed teachers and the football coach, and so that he taught aerobics, and so that was kind of funny to watch him teach aerobics. And they had a great program. I learned how to rock climb there, how to fly fish. They did some really, really neat things with their outdoor sports and lifetime sports classes. So it was a great experience. I'm so glad that I did that at that particular school, given the resources that they had.
Why did you choose language arts instead of any other subject?
When I was young, I was very fitness oriented. And then I had kids, and I knew that coaching 3 sports a year was just not in the cards for me anymore, and that I needed to choose a different discipline. And it was just natural for me to transition to language arts because I love to read, and I'd always been a really, really strong writer. And so that's why I opted to add certification in language arts.
We also interviewed staff and students from around the school on their thoughts and opinions on this year's new cell phone policy.
Good morning, Mr. Smith.
How are you guys doing today?
Doing pretty good. We're here to ask you some questions about the phone policy.
Great.
First question we got here is, what led to the change in the school's cell phone policy?
I think over the last few years, as cell phones have become, more spread out around the building, obviously about 450 kids, and pretty much all 450 kids have a cell phone. We started to have, a variety of issues. Distractions in class, they contribute to discipline issues, those kinds of things, and I think that started the discussion amongst the staff and the administration.
What are your thoughts and feelings on the new cell phone policy at CHS?
I don't know, it doesn't really affect me much because I don't use my phone that much in school.
Do you believe that changing the cell phone policy fixed the problems that you mentioned before, or was there a little change? I assume there was a good...
Yeah, I think it's been real positive so far. We're, about 2 months into the start of the school year. And just from an observational standpoint, I think it's been a lot better. Now, obviously, over the course of, a year or two, you're always reevaluating policies and to see, if there's any data or anything like that would indicate that it's been a positive thing. But from an observational standpoint, I would say, I think our teachers have been really happy with it for the most part, in terms of just the, limiting the distraction. I see a lot more kids engaged in conversation in the hallways, the cafeteria now, things of that nature. So, the discipline thing, it will be interesting to see how that plays out. We have started the first 2 or 3 weeks, we had, I think, hardly any cell phone discipline issues. We've had a few that have popped up here the last 2 or 3 weeks, but as far as seeing communication that leads to other discipline problems, we really haven't seen any of that so far this year.
What are your thoughts and feelings on the new cell phone policy at CHS?
Don't even get me started. For one, stupid, to put it simply. To complicate it, it's the 21st century. We use cell phones for literally just about everything. I can't tell you how many times this year I actually could say, I would do this, but I don't have my phone. Like in chemistry, how we take pictures of notes and stuff. Can't do that now. In there, when I try to tune my guitar when I don't have my tuner, I can't do that now. It's literally the 21st century. We should be using our phones for stuff. Like, it's stupid. It's a load.
For the students who disagree with the cell phone policies, we're sure there are many who disagree. What would you like to say to them to kind of rationalize your position and why you had to do it and why it was like what you had to do?
Sure. Well, I think the thing that we all, whether it be students or teachers or anybody, needs to keep in mind is that we're here at school for a purpose, and that's education and our studies and getting things done in class. And one of the arguments that really the one argument that I hear that people try to make all the time is that they're using their phones for academic purposes. And in reality, we all know that the amount of use of the cell phones that was actually academic in nature is very minute. And so really any of the other uses, whether it be texting or Snapchatting or whatever, is just a distraction, and it's just keeping us from being focused on things we need to be focused at while we're here. Not unlike being at a job and needing to be focused on your job and not your social life or social interactions or whatever. So.
Hearing about JJ's Diner new location, we sent the Classic Food Review team to the location to do a review and take a look at the new location.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Altered Food Review, guys. Today I'm here with my man Alex. This is the man behind the old Food Review guys. We've been changed the group up a little bit, so today we're here at JJ's Diner getting some breakfast. They've recently moved to a new location across the street, so heard a lot of great things, so we're just going to go ahead and try out some of their breakfast. Let's hit it, man. So I got the full order of biscuits and gravy.
I got me some pancakes and bacon.
I got bacon as well.
Oh, I don't know.
The syrup's hot.
Syrup is very hot. I thought that was coffee. It's really thin, too. It's some really thin syrup. So my first bite, the first thing that comes to me is the biscuits. Tastes really homemade.
Yeah,
They definitely don't taste like frozen or anything like that. Use a little bit of pepper. And a tad bit of salt. That might just be my personal opinion, though.
You never have enough syrup, boys.
Never have enough syrup, really. Put this back on here.
I will say, this is a lot of food for the price.
Yeah, I mean, I think. So his cake, that was $6.99 for all that. So I mean, that's a lot of food for $6.99. Mine was $4.69. So I mean, this is quite a bit of food. This will fill me out. This is good breakfast. So.
I like it, I grate it. I mean, I do a lot with it.
I'm gonna try the bacon roll here.
Give it a shot too.
I just get
There's a perfect little crunch, or it's not. Pretty good.
Yeah, it's kind of like Velveeta. Boy, that's got
That is just the happy medium. Like there's like burnt bacon and there's not cooked nothing. That's right in the middle right there. That's impressive. That's impressive. So this is my first time having breakfast here. This is your first time ever eating here, right?
Yep.
And there's really not a whole lot in Centralia anymore as far as food goes, because I believe Round Table's gone. So all we really have is like fast food and Tex Reds. I may be wrong, but that's just what
The main place.
that's what I know of at least. So as far as presentation goes, the table's pretty well presented. It's definitely a diner, not really a restaurant. It's not, everything's not folded super neat or anything, but it's really nice because you just come in, you sit down, your menu's already on the table, the waiter comes up to you and just asks you for your order. It's really nice and simplistic. It's like really a hometown diner. It gives you that vibe.
Definitely.
I like that too.
So any final thoughts?
I really like how they did warm syrup because it also soaks into the pancake and keeps the pancake actually pretty warm. So it's like, it'll never go cold or anything. So it's pretty nice.
I actually thought this was a coffee when they first had it. It was like blazing hot, and I was like, nope, that's syrup.
I'd say like out of 10, probably about 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm gonna say a 7. I've had a lot of good biscuits and gravy in my life, and this is pretty good. Usually when I go to a restaurant in the morning, or if they serve breakfast all day, I'll get a plate of biscuits and gravy. Excuse me. Yeah, so I'd say a 7 out of 10, and stop on by. It's a really good hometown diner.
It's a new location too.
That place across the street, right on the block. And as always, thanks for watching.
We sent 2 staff members to CNR and Pringer Foods to investigate the effects of the closing of CNR.
Today, we're investigating the closing of
We first left Centralia High School for our investigation.
our first stop, CNR.
Plenty of scenery. We arrived at CNR and... So we left CNR and visited the only grocery store open in Centralia.
We have arrived at our destination.
First, we entered Pringer's, viewing all of the products they had.
All was going well.
Until we could not find anyone to interview at Pringer's. So we left Pringer's and backtracked to the one place we do know we have people to interview with.
Centralia High School.
We interviewed people that shopped at CNR and a used-to-be worker at CNR. What do you think about the closing of CNR? Give us your thoughts.
I think it kind of sucks because it eliminates all competition in Centralia as far as grocery stores go. And I really like CNR a lot more than Pringer's, so it's not very cool.
Well, I mean, I really liked CNR because I live down some back roads right behind CNR. So if it's like night or something, you won't be getting on the main highways or anything. You just back road up to CNR, get some food or something. And my dad worked at Pringer's for a while, and I've known they've had a lot of problems with like grocery stuff, selling bad bread, selling bad meat, so much bad stuff. So now they're like the only grocery store in town, and I'm like sad because I like CNR more.
So how has the closing of CNR affected you or your family?
So my family used to shop at CNR every week, but now we go to Moser's in Mexico, so we're going to a completely different town to shop for groceries.
Like I said, I used to go up there at like nights and stuff when I didn't feel like going out on main like highway, and then back road up to CNR, get food, back road back home. It's real nice. And now I got to go into town if I want to go to the grocery store at night.
Why do you think they closed CNR? Was it more than just running out of money?
I know that
competitions?
I think it was more they didn't run out of money. I think it was more competition bought them out, because I know that the car wash in Mexico, my aunt and uncle recently bought and took ownership of from Pringer's. So I think when they got that extra boost of money, they said, well, since we have Extreme Mart and we have this and we have more money, then we can just buy CNR out. And it obviously helped them because their business is going skyrocket. So
why did you work at CNR?
I initially started working at CNR because my sister was a night manager there, and she got me in the job.
Did you enjoy working there? Why not?
I mean, the work itself wasn't hard or anything, so it wasn't bad, and the people were all right, so I thought it was enjoyable somewhat.
What is your opinion of the closing of CNR?
It's kind of an inconvenience for me because obviously I used to shop there, but it just kind of happens.
Two students went out on the street and interviewed their classmates in this episode's Man on the Street.
What is your opinion on students juuling in the bathroom?
I'm too cool for Juul.
I think it's incredibly stupid.
I think it's pretty not okay. It's hurting a lot of people's families and feelings.
I think they're stupid.
It's not cool, and I don't advise it to anyone. Don't do it.
I know there's a lot of nicotine in Juuls. Probably not the best for students, but we're almost adults here. We can make some own decisions on our own. We ain't gotta be told what to do. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. I think it's inappropriate to do in like a school setting, in any setting actually, but in school especially.
I am anti-Juul.
What celebrity would you rate a perfect 10?
Let's go back to that other question. Why, if you're gonna Juul somewhere, why would you in a bathroom? I mean, who wants to Juul somewhere where people are using the restroom?
Why are there toilets in the Juul room?
Yeah.
Well, that's a different question, right? We don't have any Juul rooms here at school. You can do that on your own time or not, because it's illegal for some people, I think. So say no to Juul, and definitely don't do it in a bathroom because that's just silly.
What celebrity would you rate as a perfect 10?
Probably Mr. Lancaster. Probably Jack Black because he's pretty.
I don't have one to rate a perfect 10. Maybe Robert Downey Jr.
X.
Probably Kanye West. Probably Danny DeVito.
I'm gonna have to go with Danny DeVito.
I guess Robin Williams.
Anne Hathaway.
Definitely my friend Billy Farrell.
What is the best type of cheese?
Vanilla.
American?
Obviously Munster because I have no idea what it is.
None.
Pepper Jack. All of them.
American.
Probably that cheddar.
All of them at the same time.
I'm not what you would call a cheese connoisseur, but I do enjoy cheese. I'm gonna say all of them.
Every day, more than 50% of the student population is transported to and from school via long cylindrical objects hurtling down the pavement at speeds varying from 20 to 55 miles per hour, better known as school buses. A ride in one of these, unsurprisingly, comes with some risks, and thus, bus evacuations.
Eyes on me. All right, we're going over some simple rules. You guys are more than welcome to talk to the person next to you in your seats, but if you're shouting all the way across the bus, that's a distraction for the driver.
We got onto a bus and the driver talked to us about some rules of the bus, and then we all jumped out the back door.
What did you do during the bus evacuations?
They just opened the back of the bus door and we slid out through there as quickly as possible. That was really it.
Did it go as planned?
Yeah, it went perfectly.
Okay, so we need to make sure that the bus is safe.
Students in CHS have two things in common: not feeling heard and not knowing how to properly express opinions to the school board. One of our staff members sat down with CHS principal, Dr. Smith, to learn about how the handbook is updated.
What is the process that a new rule has to go through before enforcing it in the school system?
It's not like a rule, the way a rule has to go through the Senate or, a legal process. It's more of a process of reviewing the handbook. One of the things that goes on here in the building every summer is, myself and Mr. Larson, a lot of times with the counselors being here in the summer, we will go through the handbook cover to cover. And there'll be things, and some of it may be rules, some of it may be procedures or whatever in the building, depending on where teachers' classrooms are or lunch shifts or schedules or whatever, that we'll go through all of that, and some things will get tinkered with a little bit, or added or deleted, just depending on what observations we've made over the last year or two, or those kinds of things. So as far as a process, that's probably about as much of a process as we have.
What consideration goes into the thoughts and opinions of the students when making decisions around the school system?
We have very rarely made major adjustments once a school year begins. A lot of times, like that summer review process of our handbooks and things is based on things that we've been seeing or feedback we've been getting over the course of the year. I would also say that, for instance, if you were to poll students about whether or not we should give detentions for tardies, probably most of them would say no, we don't want to have that. So to really go out and just say and just poll students on whether you think this is a good rule or a bad rule, the validity of that data would probably be a little bit skewed.
In what way could students voice their opinions around the school board?
Our school board meets every month, and we have on our agenda, there's an item on our agenda every month that is for public comment. And so if we had a group of students, which we have had before when it comes to things like vocational, for instance, and we've had some students come and address the board. In those cases, when they did that, they came and talked to me or talked to one of our counselors or whatever, and kind of had some help in they wanted to express an opinion, and so they wanted some help in the process, getting signed up, kind of vetting how they go about expressing it, those kinds of things. You can do that or you cannot do that, but to talk to the board, it would be at the public comment each month when they meet.
Centralia High School took part in Apply Missouri the week of October 15th through 19th. Mr. Reynolds sat down with CHS counselor Mrs. Dimmitt to learn more about the program and how students benefit from it.
I sat down with CHS counselor Mrs. Dimmitt and seniors Adam Petty and Sarah Spires to learn more about Apply Missouri, a program from the Missouri Department of Higher Education.
Apply Missouri is really just to encourage students to get their applications completed. It's very important that students get their applications completed by December 1, which is typically the application deadline for them to receive any automatic scholarships that are based off more just their application process, or the application versus filling out a supplementary scholarship. It's not a competitive scholarship, it's automatic, meaning they look at your ACT scores, class rank, GPA typically for those. And if you don't, even if you qualify for those, if you don't have your application in by a certain time, you're not eligible for those. And so that's why we try to have this during October, because some of those deadlines are actually as early as November 1st. We are opening up the counseling office. We're going to have Chromebooks in there for students to work on those college applications, where Mrs. Dickerson and I will be in there able to help them answer questions, really just kind of giving them that support that they need, because sometimes you just need somebody behind you.
Me and Ms. Dimmitt sat down and she taught me how to do applications and stuff.
The main thing is to really start thinking about what you want to do after college or after high school. Because no matter whether you're applying for college, you're joining the military, you're getting a job, those are all pieces to build on for your future. Really look at the college that you want to go to, not just about what you've heard about it, but also visit. Make sure that they have the major that you're interested in. I know sometimes students really get caught up in maybe wanting to play a sport in college, but then they go and they look and they don't really have what they want to be. They don't have the major that supports that. And that's not only a waste of money, but it's a waste of time. Because really, students should be working towards being productive citizens, which includes having a good job where they can support themselves and possibly families later in the future. So really starting, honestly, before your senior year.
If you think you're preparing too early, it's not too early. You need to prepare now. Even if you're if you're a freshman, maybe look into military or post-secondary education, because I thought, I don't have to worry about that. But now I'm on my toes, having to send emails and take phone calls back and forth, so I wish I would have known what was coming my way.
Thanks for watching this episode of Panther Broadcast Channel. We hope you have a great rest of the day.